How did you personally get involved with IAMS?
I moved to Knoxville in 1999 for a position with AmeriCorps, and it was located here at IAMS. I worked for 2 years in that position and met my wife, fell in love with the site, got a job here, and been working here ever since. I used to work as the assistant grounds manager, and then I became the grounds manager in 2014.
How has IAMS already made an impact?
In terms of invasive plants,
In terms of invasive plants, if you want to get more into that, if you want to talk about just IAMS, or the IAMS system for the community already.
IAMS's most important impact is our mission, and that's environmental education. So everything we do here at IAMS relates back to environmental education. We see a lot of field trips that come out here every year, and that's by far the most important and rewarding work that we do. Everything I do on grounds is to facilitate that. So basically my position is to create a better outdoor education center, so a better outdoor classroom.
Why was the Weed Warriors initiative started?
We have a staff of 2 people on grounds maintenance. Our job is to take care of 315 acres and provide that outdoor education space, and we're just undermanned. So the Weed Warriors program is an effort to leverage volunteer labor to help offset some of our workload. And the thought being that in the past we've relied on volunteer labor in the forms of large groups that come out to the site to volunteer. And most of the time they're just a one and done kind of thing. With the Weed Warriors, we were hoping to establish a group of people that would come every month or every week, hopefully, and just put in a lot of hours exclusively on invasive plant control. And so far we've got 6 people signed up, and they've been coming out regularly, and they have good attitudes despite working in frigid temperatures and rainy weather.
Can you elaborate more on why invasive species pose a threat?
Yeah, in a nutshell, they are a threat because they outcompete our native plants for resources. Part of what makes living in East Tennessee special is the diversity of plant life, and these plants outcompete for those resources and just crowd a forest so that nothing else can exist. And we're sort of robbed of that beauty here close to town in our urban forests where they're so overrun with these plants.
So what is the benefit of the brush cutter specifically?
The brush cutter is an effort for us to work more efficiently. Most of our efforts now when we do exotic control in-house is done with a chainsaw and with an herbicide applicator. And it's usually in a 2-person team. And when you're working with a chainsaw, you have to bend down low to cut the stump flush. With a brush cutter, you can stay standing, cut the brush, and it'll hopefully minimize worker fatigue and maximize our efficiency.
How do you think this project will impact IAMS and the greater Knoxville community?
The Weed Warrior program? Our hope with the Weed Warrior program is that not only are they out at IAMS and other places throughout our urban wilderness and throughout Knoxville doing the actual physical work of removing these plants, but they also become ambassadors. And that's probably the most important and critical part of year 2 for this program, is that these volunteers are seen out in the forest doing this sort of work, and then they engage with the public, and they've been giving talking points on why this is important and how people can make the same sort of impact in their own yards, in their own community parks and spaces, and that hopefully it has this sort of ripple effect throughout the community where people start going out and doing this work in their own yards.
So what are your plans to expand your impact in the next few years beyond this campaign?
So Weed Warriors is off to a great start. Like I said, it's small. It's 5 or 6 people right now. Next year, we hope to expand and at least have 10 people on the boots on the ground workforce into things. And then also expand with our outreach program where these people are going out to community groups and other volunteer organizations, county parks, all of these sorts of things, and talking about the importance of their work.
Well, that's all the questions I have on here. Do you mind if I just ask you a personal question?
No, it's fine.
What has been your experience working with Lions?
I love it here. I have a great diversity of work and of tasks. It's not always going out and removing invasives, but I do find that extremely rewarding. Probably my favorite part is restoration projects where we start with an overrun forest floor, go out and clear it, and then restore natives. And I get to do a lot of that. And I also get to work with great partnerships with the University of Tennessee. Worked on several grants. So the diversity of work tasks keeps it a very engaging job.
You mentioned educating the younger children was very rewarding. What do you find so rewarding about it?
I'm a father of two, so I know what's really special about seeing children in the outdoors is how engaged they become and how there's that level of just fascination with the natural world that adults often miss, but kids never do. They are always constantly engaged whenever they're here at IAMS. And that's been a really fantastic part of, and the part of why I want to be involved with this organization and continue to be involved. We also serve a lot of underserved communities, and whenever I came on to IAMS years ago, we had a lot of field trips coming from Knox County schools, from kids that didn't get to see the outdoors, came from inner city schools, and didn't really have someone to take them to the Smokies. So this was like the next best thing, and they would come out here and they were just filled with wonder. So we're getting some of that back. We're getting a lot more scholarship opportunities back for kids and seeing a lot of more underserved communities out here, and I think that's fantastic.
Back to the invasive species. How do you typically deal with fighting back against them? What's your process?
Every plant is a little bit different. So we have what's called an integrated pest management program at IAMS. So in a nutshell, what that means is you deal with different plants in different seasons in different ways. So we use mechanical control with machines. Sometimes that consists of mowing plants down and then doing foliar treatments on them. Sometimes it consists of wrapping a chain around a plant and pulling it out of the ground. Other methods are cut and stump treat methods, and then we do hand pulling. So all of those methods are used on different plants during different seasons. Some plants are just not able to be pulled out of the ground. So in those instances, we have to do chemical controls. But basically, it's a little hard to say how do you tackle one plant. I mean, if you ask me one plant, I could definitely tell you how we tackle that one specific one. But one of the frustrating things about our invasive plant infestation here is that it is very diverse. I often kid people that they would be amazed by the diversity of our invasives because literally, like if you take a book of invasives and you look through it, we have got them all here in some capacity. So it does give us a good effort to understand each of these different species and understand the different management criteria for them.
You worked with another group from UT before. How was your experience with them?
For the Indiegogo?
Yeah.
It was fantastic. They helped us raise funds, similar thing for invasive plant control and then reestablishing native plants. So I think the last time we raised money for wildflower meadow seeds and saplings, and it was great, and it created basically a fund that I get to pull from now for all of my native plant needs for all of these restoration efforts. So it was a very great experience. Cool.